What's up, stereotypes? So I have decided to film a bunch of videos in bulk so that I can have a bunch to upload over a couple of weeks, and I won't have to stress myself out as much over recording one and editing one as soon as I get home. Did you hear my voice crack? So since my last video was about betta fish care, I decided that this one would be about parakeet care. No one asked for this, I just wanted to talk about it. Here comes my dog. Can I help you? So I have 3 parakeets. Their names are Salt, Snowball, and Ice Cube. I used to have a white and blue parakeet named Snowflake, and this is her. I used to photograph her all the time, and she was my favorite. And then along with her, I had a bird named Pepper, and this is him. Pepper just recently died a couple of months ago, and I have also rescued 2 other birds, Snowball and Ice Cube, from their previous owner because she couldn't care for them and didn't really want them, so I took them in for her. And whenever Snowflake died, I got Pepper Salt, which is another green one, to keep him company. And they all hate me. So I just recently got them a new cage because their old one was way too small for 3 parakeets. For 2 parakeets it was just fine, but 3 was too many. And this is what that used to look like. Parakeets have to have room in their cage for all of them to freely stretch their wings without hitting other things or bumping into other parakeets. So I got them this cage, which was not that much for how nice of a cage it is. It has plenty of room for them to fly and stretch their wings, and if they're feeling antisocial, they don't have to worry about being right next to another parakeet all the time. It's also better for parakeet cages to be taller rather than wider so that they can fly. Their diet should not be mostly seeds. I believe it's 30% should be fresh fruits and vegetables. My parakeets will not eat fruits. I have tried many times, but the issue with pretty much all parakeets that you get from pet stores is that they have been fed seeds their entire life, so they don't know what fruit is, and they don't know if they'll like it. I don't know if it's every parakeet, but mine are very picky, and if it's something new, they're not going to eat it unless it's some type of seed. So whenever you get a parakeet, you need to try and get it to start eating fruits and veggies as soon as possible. And if yours will not eat fruits and vegetables like mine, there are numerous articles that you can look up that tell you how to get them started. This is also something that I have just kind of noticed. I feel like they need more water in their cage than they do food. This is what my food bowls look like. And I have one side that has a bit of water in it. And I have these vitamin D drops that I put in their water to make sure that they're getting all the supplements or whatever that they need. And I stopped putting it in that water bowl because they would take baths in it. And I have a bath for them, and it's right here, but they just do not use it for whatever reason. So I stopped putting the drops in there, so now they just take baths in that water. And I have 2 other water containers for them, which they cannot take baths in, and they look like this. And I do highly recommend that you get the vitamin D drops and mix it in their water. I put 2 drops in their water, and it helps keep them healthy and active. You also have to be conscious of mites and lice. I have this thing on the side of my cage, and it helps protect against mites, or it's supposed to. My birds have gotten mites before. They've gotten them a couple of different times. And it's not that hard to get rid of as long as you have the right stuff. I have a spray, and every time I clean their cage, I spray them with the mite spray. And it helps keep it off of them and also helps get rid of it very easily. And you don't have to take them out of the cage. All you have to do is spray it like 3 times on their back, but make sure that you don't spray their face. You should also clean your parakeet's cage at least once a week because they poop a lot, especially if you have more than one. So you need to make sure that you're cleaning it with hot water to prevent any diseases. That's a lot of the reason why birds get mites, because their cage is not cleaned in the time that it should be. They should also have lots of toys to play with. They're very active birds, and they love to learn and interact with things. So you should have a lot of things in your cage that they can play with. They also need at least an hour of outside cage time every day. And since I have 3 parakeets, so they're very dependent on each other and not so dependent on me. So what I do is I open the cage whenever I get home, and the window I have a screen so they can't get out. And if they want to come out, I let them come out, and if they want to go back in, they can go back in whenever they want. And I usually leave it open for about 2 hours. You should also try to keep your cage in a place where there are not a lot of drafts, such as from a fan or from a vent in the floor. My birds are kind of in the corner of my room, and not a lot of air gets over here, which is why I have them here. They also need to be in a place where they can get sunlight. Not too much sunlight because they could overheat. But they do need to have some sunlight to be happy, obviously, and to make them want to sing. You should also be very conscious of their nails and their beaks and make sure that they aren't getting overgrown. I have a perch in my cage that looks like this, and it naturally wears down their nails so that they don't overgrow, and they love to rub their beaks on it to keep them sharp and pointy and keep them from overgrowing. So that's pretty much all I have to say about parakeet care. I can make a separate video about how to tame your parakeet if you're curious about that, but I think that wraps it up for this video. So stay positive, don't let one small thing ruin your entire day, and stay focused on whatever you're trying to do. Peace out, stereotypes.